what did we cover last class is on the Alteryx designer basic, right? Introduction of Alteryx, what are the different tools they provide and how the designer workflow looks, right? The designer application looks, right? So
Mm.
quick recap, the top one
Yes.
is our tool
Mm-hmm.
palette, right? This one is called tool palette and all the tools are segregated as per the their functionalities, right? So that's the basic of it,
Mm.
right? On top there is, I mean, file edit. This is standard for all application. In configuration panel, this is called configuration panel, right? And this will change as per the tool we select, or if we don't select anything, it will change to canvas, right?
Mm. So which one is the canvas? This one, where you're creating the workflow.
Workflow. The white one is called canvas. Canvas is where we, it's like the painting, right? The painting we do is the canvas.
Okay, it's a
Okay.
blank page,
Blank page.
basically.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Overview, complete workflow overview will be can be seen over here. Okay. No matter how many
Mm.
of a big workflow you build, it will reflect over here.
And what is
Then
it called? New workflow one, new workflow two. Is it called tabs or what do
yeah,
you
it's
call
tab.
this?
It's tab. It's called tab. So you are creating different workflow inside Alteryx,
Okay.
right?
Are there any limitations how many tab you can create or many tabs you can create at once?
You can create as many as you can, but it's you can't manage, right, up to certain this point. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
it will be packed completely, right? It depends upon your application RAM, sorry, system RAM also, right? So how many it can handle.
Mm-hmm. And when you click on this, yeah, one question. When you click on this run button, it will
Mm-hmm.
only execute the workflow which you're creating in the active canvas, right? Let's say right now
Correct.
you're selecting workflow one. So
Hmm.
anything in workflow two or any other tab, it will not execute, right? Only
It will not.
the active
It
one
will
it will
not.
execute. Okay.
Correct. Exactly. Okay. Absolutely correct. It will not execute those. Okay. Now, this is the result window, right? Here, it will show all the audit log, what is happening to our workflow, or how it ran. Then any kind of result also can be view over here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So today we'll cover data processing fundamentals part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here we'll cover.
So this all tricks, right? Where it is mostly used, it is used mostly in like pharma company, banking company, or e-commerce, like mostly where it is used, or
So
any company
basically,
can use
yeah,
it.
it can be used in any company. Depends upon the use case, right? If basically
Mm-hmm.
it's a data analytics tool. So wherever there is data, it can be used. So let's say it's a finance company. So you will be working mostly with financial data, right? People with their monies, right? So we'll be
Mm-hmm.
working with those data. It's a pharmacy company. Then you will be working with their pharmaceutical, let's say how many I mean chemical were mixed together. I'm just giving an example, right? So you will work with those data. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
sales company, again, it's a different kind of data. So any data can be, if it's a, let's say, supply chain company, right? Again, you will deal with the root data, right? The how map
Mm-hmm.
data and spatial data, all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So any data can be handled. Basically, it's a data analytics tool. Wherever data analytics fundamentals can be applied,
Mm-hmm.
all tricks can be applied.
Okay.
Okay.
Since the companies would be having something like a SQL or something where they can write query and do all these things, right?
Hmm.
The only advantage with Alteryx is providing is that you don't have to write a code and it is easy to perform this operations or any advantages has over a traditional ETL tool.
Yeah. So over traditional ETL tool, there first of all you need to have, as you mentioned, the main advantage of Alteryx is it's a visual kind of tool, right? You are dragging and dropping, and you can able to basically see what and all workflow you built, right? Second great advantage is, let's say you built some workflow and you share that workflow with someone, they will also be able to use it without even knowing the codes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Third, you will schedule the workflow. Now you don't need to write any code. You don't need to, in SQL, obviously you need to have some kind of understanding on the codes part as well, right? And you have to execute. It will not execute automatically, right? Here,
Mm-hmm.
all those kind of things can be done easily. And SQL, you will extract that data and will do some kind of data messaging, right? But after that, those analytical things can be done here in Alteryx, right?
Hmm.
It's not only data pool and data blending. It's advanced analytics also can be performed. Automation can be performed, and scalability integration is also a good part, right? Alteryx can be a, I mean, it's a hugely scalable. It can handle large set of data, integrate with multiple tools, right? All
Hmm.
those kind of things. And automation, basically you can create a workflow, you can schedule it somewhere, every day it will run in certain time. And it's not only pull data, it will massage data, it will give you the result, it will publish the report also, it will do all those kind of activity. It will trigger some kind of automation also. Let's say you have scheduled some Alteryx in a such a way, it will push the application, next application, right? Let's say you built some kind of workflow, whenever your system receives this email from Alteryx, then this will be executed. You can do those kind of automation from Alteryx, right?
Hmm.
But SQL, I doubt, right? So it's very hard to do over there. It's
Okay.
basically data analytics process. So basically, I'm giving you fundamental also, right? So in data analytics process, what are the basics of data analytics? What are the steps in data analytics process, right? One is data collection, right? You will gather the data from various sources, correct? And
Hmm.
data cleaning, you will remove errors, duplicates, inconsistencies, improve data quality. Then third part is data exploration. You will use statistical methodology, mean, median, mode, right? Skewed, all those kind of thing. Then data analysis, right? Apply basically techniques, correlation, machine learning, all those kind of thing. Then visualization can also be done, by the way. Power BI, Tableau, all those kind of. Although it is not like Tableau visualization kind of thing, very advanced visualization can be performed in Alteryx as of now, but there are visualization tool also. You have interactive charts, all those things. Can you able to see? Okay,
Hmm.
you can build
Hmm.
visualization also.
Okay.
So SQL, to sort to give you short answer, SQL is for querying and managing database, right?
Hmm.
Alteryx is for automation of everything. It will
Hmm.
pull the data, it will do all those kind of calculation, and it will automate the complete workflow as well.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's come to our topic. Okay, so today we'll cover split data, skipping of record, using record as a field handling, pivot data inside Alteryx, trim and split fields. These are the
Hmm.
functions we perform, and these are the tools which we will use. Okay, input tool, dynamic rename, text to column, transpose, cross tab, formula, directory, sample tool, and all those
Hmm.
things. Okay, let's start our training. Okay, first of all, split data. What do you mean by split data? Basically,
Split
to
means
divide. Correct. Yeah.
yes, I think into multiple columns, like one data you have that you're splitting into multiple columns. Is it something like that?
Yeah, let's say you can see these data, right? So split data means it can be split horizontally, it can be split vertically also, right?
Hmm.
Let's say this is my data,
Vertically, horizontal. Okay.
correct? Vertically means here. Let's say I'm splitting these. I'll keep these separate and these separate, right?
Okay.
This is my
Uh.
vertical column wise,
Hmm.
and row wise is this. But vertical splitting will not solve my any problem as of now
Hmm.
here,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
this is my one record. Now, if I split vertically, I'll be missing with the important information, right?
Hmm.
Now, for us, as a here, what information will make sense, what splitting will make sense is horizontal splitting, right?
Hmm.
Now,
Sir, one thing you haven't
hmm,
shown, like, let's say when I install the tool right from the beginning,
hmm.
will I get this data, this sample superstore data, or do I
This
need
data
to
will not.
import it somewhere?
You need to import it basically. There will be
Yeah,
certain sample
then
data already in Alteryx, but these data sample superstore data available in Google also, right? You just need to ask Google. Hold on.
Okay. Otherwise, you can, if you can share, then I'll
I
use
can
that
share.
only.
I can share. Okay, all right. I will
Yeah.
share the sample
I'll
superstore
use
data
this
as
one
well.
only. Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay. I'll show you all those things where to get all those data and all everything. Okay. Once you do hands-on, no, after 2, 3 class, mostly whenever you download the Alteryx application, you'll do hands-on with me, right? So by that time, I'll show you where to download all those things. Okay. Database and all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is my data set, right? These are my customer information. Let's understand the database, right? What it says. If this is my row ID, these are my row information. These are my order ID, right? Order date, ship date, shipping mode, right? Customer ID, customer name, segment, country, city, and all those kind of information. Sales data is also there, quantity, how many, and discount profit also there, right? So this is my data set. Okay. Now I have showed you how to do this, right? How to extract, I mean, insert data set. Did I show you or do you want to see it again? I can show you as well.
Sir, please show it again. It will be helpful.
Okay. So there are two ways. Okay. Simple thing, once you download any kind of Excel sheet, right? Let's say this is my Excel sheet. Hold on, I'll go to new super new workflow. So this is my data set. Just drag and drop if it's a Excel database. Okay. Now things will be loaded. If not, if let's say you don't want to do this, you want to do the traditional, do it in the traditional way. Click the input data tool, in and out tool palette. Okay, click the input data tool. All right, are you good now? I have just clicked drag and drop here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh,
This is, yeah.
and in the
I'm
configuration
following the
panel.
steps.
Okay, in the configuration panel. Okay, so did you download Alteryx also?
No, no, I haven't downloaded it.
Okay, all right. You can note down also if you want to. I mean, because if you don't have Alteryx app, you will forget, right? Just note down if you think you will forget. Okay, so drag and drop input tool, then click on setup connection. Okay, go to files. All those descents will be saved over here. You can see, you can directly go to sample superstore also, but that's fine. I want to show you in the traditional way. Okay, go to files. You have all these different types of file size, sorry, file type. Don't worry about that. Just go over and select file and select the data set, right? And all files, file type is all. So as per the data file type, Alteryx in and out tool will work like that. Input tool will function. Okay. Now there are multiple sheets inside that. Now which sheets you want to insert, you can insert it here also, right? Let's say order. Just click on OK. Now you can able to see here, right? All good as of now.
Yes. Yeah, the sheets. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now just look at my data. Now, okay, we have covered the input tool. Input tool also I have showed you that day as well, right? So this is my window. This will show how my input tool works looks like. I mean, this will not show everything. Somewhere around 70 to 72 line item it will show, right? You can fairly able to understand how my data looks, right? But if you want to see it in the result window in a little bit in depth manner, just click on run.
Yes, that day you showed one column you have to rename, right?
Correct,
Some
correct. I'm
column
coming to
was
that.
not
I'm
coming
coming to
properly.
that. I'm coming to that. Okay. So you can see even there are some gaps also on top, right? Alteryx is automatically removing those blank rows as well. Okay. You remember we've created certain blank rows above our header.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It automatically started taking from the
Yes.
place where data was visible.
Correct. Data is there. Correct. Alteryx is that smart. Okay. Now, now I have this data. I can fairly able to understand where is my problem, right? This is my data, what I want to do, achieve. Now, while looking at it, I can clearly see we have F9 over here, right? Which is not right. Now, let's understand our data a bit more, right? This is called browse mode, browse tool. Okay. Can you see here? Browse. Just click, drag and drop next to the input tool. You can see one dotted line
Yes,
is created.
browse tool. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So just select and drag and drop this one and click on run. So browse tool, what it will do, it will give you all those analysis basically, right, of the data source which it is getting connected, right? So it's now connected to the input tool. So now it's analyzing all those. So that's why browse tool takes lots of space, right? So if you have, let's say, 5 to 10 browse tool active in your workflow, the workflow may take bit time. Okay. So browse tool basically needed whenever you do EDA, right? Exploratory data analysis. In the initial phase, whenever doing EDA, trying to understand the workflow, build the workflow, and that time you mostly use browse tool. Okay. Now in browse tool, I can able to
Okay.
see these many records displayed, 21 field, 960 KB.
Hmm.
All those things are there.
For
Now,
every field, will it show, what are the distinct row ID, order ID, and
yes, it will show everything. See, row ID is showing 1, 2, 995 more, right? And all are unique. One, can you able to see? Row ID is obviously, it is unique, right?
yes, I can see it.
Yeah. Order ID, it is saying order ID, these are my order ID. And you have 995 more order ID, and order IDs are not unique. Like this one is 14 times is there, 12 times is there, right? If you want to see more about that, just click on more, 995 more, right? You will see specifically everything about order ID. Now let's say somewhere my data is skewed, somewhere it is missing, right? Then I can do the analysis and I can perform some kind of task. So that's the reason browse tool is very much important in the initial phase. Okay. See, I've clicked on order ID. Now it's saying, telling
Mm-hmm.
me the types of
Type, type and all.
data. This is a VW string. Basically, this is a string data type. Okay. And 999 record data type size is also saying maximum it's a 255, right? It can take up to 255 character. Now, 100% okay. My data is 100% okay. There is no issue with it. Okay. And
Okay.
5009 is my unique value. Although there are
Mm.
1995 records, from that approximately basically 60% are unique, right? 40% items are mostly duplicate. 40 to 50% are duplicate. Okay. I don't have any empty column. I don't have any
Yeah.
empty rows, and all those things are there. Now I'll show you how to handle empty rows, how to handle empty column. We'll do mean, median, mode. All those kind of things will be done once we start with the project. Okay, we'll do one simple project where you will do the analysis once you download the Alteryx application, right? So for now, I'm just exploring how you can look into these tools, right? Now you have min max also. Min is 14, max is 14, average is 14, right? Because it's a string data type, so min max, I mean average doesn't matter, right? So I mean there's no point of calculating this. Shortest value, longest value is there. So basically this is my top value. You can see everything. Okay, now you clear this one. Again, we'll go back to the same thing. Okay. Now same way you have shipping mode. Click on shipping mode. Standard class, standard shipping is 59% is standard, 19%. So it's also showing in a some kind of graph way as well, right? So that you can understand the data better. Making sense?
But majorly, where do you use it? Mostly very few people will be asking about the mean, median, mode, and which is occurring the most. Are you
Hmm.
mainly using it for, detecting null values or missing values, or
Correct, correct. So
exactly in real-time project work? Because it's very difficult to check each and every field, right? But what are the things which you basically check when you use the browse tool?
Okay, so when you start using the browse tool, you will see, let's suppose there is some issue. Now this will be not in okay 100%. It will be in red if there is some incorrect value, or it will be in yellow. Okay, if there is null value or something. Now mean, median, mode. Nobody will ask. This is not, I mean, basic statistics class that I mean, real time project. Somebody will ask what is the mean. That's not our result, or that's not our end goal. Main, median, mode will basically be performed when we want to do some kind of data massaging, right? Let's say I have these data. Okay, let's say I have these data, sales value data, correct? Now in this, these, due to some reason, these two values were not there in my data set itself. Okay, 14 and 957. Now in the analysis phase, I can calculate, I, as per the, my requirement, I can go with the mean. I can say that whatever my sales columns mean, let's put that value over here, so that I can stabilize my data set a bit, rather than keeping it as empty, because due to user mistake or due to something, the data is missing right here. Now I have to fill that gap. To fill that gap, you can do perform mean, median, mode. Okay, so mean is basically average, right?
Okay, yeah.
Median, I mean, median is whenever the data is skewed, right? Median will be in one side. In that time, you can perform median. And mode, whenever you have repetitive tasks, repetitive items. Let's say 2 is there 10 times, 5 is there 5 times. Now you can use mode in that time. So it depends upon the use case, basically, right? Now again, that will come in statistics, right? If I start teaching that, that will again, it will become a statistics class, right? But to give you some basic understanding, right? Whenever you have missing values, okay, and I want to stabilize the data set because I have to perform certain tasks, right? So to use that, I need to first do all those analysis in the browse tool. Make sense?
Yes, yes, making sense.
Okay, all right. Now browse tool, you can see this way also, or if you have connected to browse tool and you click on any kind of, let's say, item, right? It, you can see over here it is already taking, right? You want to see this, just double click on the column, it will be selected. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now let's come back to our topic. Okay, split data. Now how will we split data? There are
Split
various
means
tools, right?
selection, right? Like,
Yeah, split, split is not selection. So we have, are you talking about the select tool?
no, no. By split, if you can explain this theoretically, what you mean by split, and
Okay,
then I can
okay,
check in the tool like what output it is giving.
okay, all right. Let's say, simple example, I have clicked on browse tool and it's shipping mode, right? I have, let's say, four shipping method. I want to split my data set into four shipping method, right? So that my data will be splitted into four data set, with standard class in a one data set, second class in another, first class in another, and same day in another. So that is called split. I'm splitting the data in a horizontal way.
Okay, so understood. That is okay. These are basically data cuts, right?
Yeah, you can call it data cuts as well.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Now
Mhm.
to achieve that, okay, what we can do, there is something called filter tool. This is over here. Preparation panel. We have filter tool over here. Okay. Just connect the filter tool next to input stream. Right? Now,
Mm, okay, just this one is so this is browse tool on top, and this one is filter tool.
filter tool. Yes.
Filter tool, this one. Okay, preparation filter tool.
Okay. Under preparation palette, it will be called filter tool.
Okay, filter tool. You must select a field. Okay.
Okay. Now, as we discussed, configuration panel will ask us to do the configuration of this application tool, right?
Hmm.
Now, it's the configuration is pretty basic. We have two types of filter. We have basic filter, we have custom advanced filter as well. Okay. Now let's go with basic. Okay. Now I will select what is my end result? My end result is dividing the data set into different shipping mode, right?
So you need as many data sets, as many number of shipping modes are there. That many number of output data set you need.
Correct.
Hmm.
Okay. Now to do
Hmm.
that, to achieve that, simply select on this column. It will show how many of the columns are there, right? Before that, can you able to see? Okay, I'll come to that later. All right, shipping mode. I'll select shipping mode. Now we have these many equals, does not equals, comes before, comes after, contains, does not contains.
Hmm.
We have all these kind of things, right? Now ship mode
Hmm.
is equals to simply second plus. Okay,
Okay.
all right. Now I'll run the
Hmm.
workflow.
Okay. Sounds
Okay. Now in filter tool we have two output. Can you see?
options. True,
True,
false.
false. That means my statement, whichever is true, that means ship mode equals second class,
Hmm.
whenever it is true, it will go over there. Now, if you
Hmm.
select here, you have select, if you select in the true output item, you will see
Hmm.
that I have only second class, right?
Hmm.
And remaining is under false, right? Now, what
Hmm.
I want to achieve? I want to achieve four categories, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, I'll select another filter tool. Next to, I can select over here also. I will say,
Hmm.
I will say here
But
equals to
but the thing is that this has to be done manually. Automatically, it will not split, right?
means.
Means let's say you have 10 to 12 different categories. Let's assume
Mhm, mhm,
here it is 4, but if you have, let's say, yeah, let's say you have state-wise data
mhm,
for US, and let's say US have 50 states, right? So
mhm,
if you need data set split for each of the 50 states,
mhm.
will you have to do this operation like 50 times?
No, you don't have to. So for that, there is one tool called dynamic input, dynamic filter. Okay.
Okay.
So there are various tools. Okay, you can do through dynamic filter as well. Filter in database. Hold on, dynamic filter should be there. Do you see any dynamic filter?
Not yet.
Okay, there is one macro which is called dynamic filter. Okay, through that also it can be done. I'll show you that also. Okay, see dynamic filter.
Hmm.
This is a dynamic filter. I'll click on the community page. It will take me to the community page. Okay,
Hmm.
there is a macro. This is a macro, right? You can download and you can use, and it will filter dynamically. How many ever data set is there? You just need to, give it as input and output, and it will configure. It's kind of bit advanced, right? But
Hmm.
here, the problem statement what we're solving, we know that we from browse tool we know that there are four categories, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you are only building this workflow once. You are not building it every day.
Hmm.
And you have set of, let's say if you have broader category, let's say you have office in 10 states, right? You know
Hmm.
that you have office in 10 states, and you will not, I mean, the new office will not be open every month, right?
Hmm.
But for that, those kind of problem, you will need to build this workflow once and it can be used. Now, but let's say every day you are doing this workflow for some different companies and they have their location can change. In
Hmm.
that case, you can use dynamic input. Sorry,
Hmm.
dynamic filter, right?
Hmm.
There are various tools which is there. We are just beginning with the basics one, right?
Hmm.
So true and false. Same way, simple. Okay, you can select.
This one shipping
Ship mode
ship mode.
equals, right?
Standard
What?
class. Standard
Standard
class.
class. We have standard class, right? Ship mode equals, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And you have,
First class in false.
correct. And same way, standard class is also segregated. Now here I will select, let's go with the advanced custom field. Okay. I will
Hmm.
select, now this is my coding.
Hmm.
Correct. Same way.
Yeah.
I mean, here you are just selecting on top, right? Here, if you can see,
Hmm.
I have built the formula in a simple way. But if I select on custom, you can see this is my formula. Ship mode equals standard class.
Yes.
Standard class is a
Standard
string
class.
value, right?
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
same way, if you write ship mode equals, right? Let's select. Okay. See, all first class is there, and remaining same day
Same day.
we have segregated in a separate. Now, if I connect this output, this output, this output, this output, and this output. Now my data is segregated in a four different
Hmm.
segregation, right?
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
can send it to different reports. I can send it to different data stream, right?
Hmm. So, in the custom filter where you're writing the formula,
Mm-hmm.
is it possible to put any or condition
Yeah,
there
yeah.
also?
Yes, yes. Why
Hmm.
not? So you can
Let's say
select,
you need, let's say standard class and let's say second
and
class in one.
yeah,
And
you can do that.
okay,
And you can write the formula. You can, and let's say ship mode is second class and segment or state, right? You can say state, right, equal to, I will say
hmm,
Kentucky, right?
hmm,
So same way you are doing. You just, if you put some SQL database here and you write this code, right, it will
hmm.
pull the same
So
kind of
one
information.
thing, if you're writing the second class or Kentucky, whatever you're writing,
Hmm.
is it case sensitive or you can write in capital or small, whatever it is?
No, this will be case sensitive, right? I hope
Yeah,
so. Hold on.
because
Because you are
okay,
putting it in a string, I mean, inverted
yeah,
column, right? This will
hmm, yes,
look for exact value, right?
okay.
Let's do one thing. Let's select that. I think it will not do, but let's do that. That's a good question. Hold on.
Yeah, because what I do in other coding, I convert everything into uppercase during the
Yeah,
query,
you can do that.
and
No, no.
and that
Basically,
I
it's
write.
it's it's selecting. It's selecting, even
It
irrespective
is
of the.
selecting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, then it is good. It is
But
not, if it is not case sensitive, then it is easy for me to use.
yes,
Otherwise,
yes, yes.
I
It's
have
not
to
case
keep these
sensitive.
things in mind. Okay.
Yeah, it's not case sensitive. And to handle case sensitive thing also, we have something called data cleansing. Okay, hold on.
Hmm.
Now, okay, you have connected the filter tool. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, second part is skipping record. I'll go to skipping record later. I'll show you some other thing. Now, I'll drag and drop. Now, imagine you have built this. Now, let's say in SQL or in other tool, you want to perform some kind of task. Again, you have to start from the beginning. But now here, you just shift all those things and you can build some previous data set. I mean, you can format the data set before data coming to these fields also. Okay. So because we are building this workflow now, right? You are setting this workflow for the first time. You can do all those kind of things. Okay.
Hmm.
Now let's something called data cleansing. Okay. Just drag and drop on top of the connector line. You can drag and drop anywhere, but if
Hmm.
you select this, it will be selected here.
Okay.
Okay. Now here, just select none. Now it is showing remove null error, null rows. Now if you have null rows, it will automatically clean those. If you null column, if it will automatically clean those, right? If you specify which column specifically you want to do, you can do that. Or if you want to replace the null with some value, blank or zero. If it's numeric, obviously blank if you are putting, it will mess up your mathematics calculation, right? Let's say sales data you have zero, no value over here. Now you want to replace that with zero. You can do that. Replace with zero.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I'm coming to your question where it's a case sensitive or not, right? Now let's say, let's imagine my data over here is all small, right? State. I'm just figuring out. I'm just looking at state now, right? Now I'll come
Hmm.
here. Okay, let's do all for all. City, state, postal code. Postal code is not. Don't need to select region, right? Let's select all these. Replace null, remove this. Leading. Let's say your data has some leading and trailing white space, right? Data
Hmm.
cleansing is basically you can do all those kind of activity. Okay,
Hmm.
it will clean all
Leading
those.
and trailing white space. Okay. Is it something similar to trim? You're trimming the data.
Trimming the data set. Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say in this custom consumer somewhere you have, I mean in Excel you must have faced that, right? You have plenty of blank space, right? If you do certain formula will not work, right? So to do that, leading and trailing white space will, I mean it will remove all those leading and trailing white. There is tab, line break, duplicate white space. It will remove all white space. If you select all white space, that means United States. Let's suppose due to some reason in some kind of this kind of data there is some space. Okay, you can, if you select all white space, it will basically remove all white space, blank space. Okay,
Hmm.
now what I want to do, I want to select modify. Now I want to select modify my uppercase. Okay,
Hmm.
modify everything to uppercase. Now I'll run. Now I'll select here. I'll select here, I have input, I have output.
Yeah, input is okay. Output, in output, this will change, right?
Correct. Can you able to see all this turn to
Hmm.
capital.
Hmm.
Okay. If you select title case means your first letter will be in capital.
Yeah, it is proper case. Okay.
Okay, yeah, proper case. Okay, see,
Hmm. This is the standard one, right? Like mostly in the data, this is what happens.
correct. And for that you have data cleansing tool. If you have any, I mean, this will solve your 90% of the issues, right? Data issues where you have incorrect data, all those kind of things. You have null value, empty blank space. I mean,
So
lower cap.
one question I have, regarding the white space, one option
Hmm.
is showing leading and trailing white space. The
Hmm.
other option is showing all white space. So what
Hmm.
is the difference?
Okay, I'll show you that. Let's show you that. Okay. Now if I select, let's none. Now I'll select customer name. I'll select customer name. Okay.
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
select all white space. Okay. I'll
Hmm.
run. Let's see what happens to customer name.
Hmm. I think this one should be trim and strip.
Where is customer
Customer
name?
name.
Can
This
you
one.
see?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. Basically your name will be
So
merged, but that is not right, right?
yeah.
So
So
to
the
do that,
middle space is also removed.
removed.
Anything
So
between the text.
correct. So that's what I showed you here as well. Right? Let's say you have product ID. In
Hmm.
product ID, you don't need any space in between, right?
Hmm.
There should be hyphen, there should be some value, but there should not be any
Yes.
space. So to
Hmm.
do that, you need to select on all white space. But if you have name, for name, leading and trailing white space should work, right? If you have space
Okay.
before and after,
Hmm.
it will only consider that. In between, it will not do.
Yeah, I just have one more question here, right? So
Hmm.
let's suppose, for name you just need leading and trailing white space you need to remove.
Hmm.
But for let's say for product, you need to remove
Hmm.
all white space.
Hmm.
So that option is not possible by one data cleansing tool, right?
No,
Because if
that
you
can be
apply leading
possible.
and trailing
Correct.
white space and all white space, it will do
Correct.
for both the variables, both the
It
columns,
will
right?
it will do for everything whatever you select here in the
Yes, so separate configuration
separate
is not
tool.
possible.
No,
So you
separate
need
configuration,
two data cleansing
two
tool
data cleansing tool.
in
Correct.
the
So
workflow.
correct. So initially, if you have your data is very much
Hmm.
messy and you want to
Hmm.
streamline those, you can use data cleansing. Now,
So
if you have very
okay.
specific use case, let's say in this
Hmm.
column you need to do this activity, in
Yes.
this column
Yes.
you need
Hmm.
to do that you need you need formula tool. Now you need to write exact formula what you need to do. You need,
Hmm.
same kind of thing. You'll write trim for this and leading and trailing
Hmm.
white space for that. All those kind of things
Hmm.
on the column specific.
Hmm.
Okay, that will come later. But this is like overall. Okay, but you can do some kind of activity with data cleansing also. But you need to select. I mean, uh, connect multiple data cleansing tool. That's fine also, right? Because you are setting it
Hmm.
for first time. You'll select another. You can select
Hmm.
how many ever data cleansing tool you want.
Okay, so if I have 10 different steps where I need to clean the data in 10 steps,
You
so
can
10
clean
data
10. You
cleansing
can
tool
put 10
will be
data
required.
cleansing tool. Yes, not
Hmm.
always. Let's suppose in
Yes.
this data cleansing tool you can do all those things. Let's say you want to remove
Hmm.
blank value, and you need to update the higher uppercase for the specific columns, right? You can do with this
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
tool also, right?
Hmm.
Depends on your use case, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, all right. I know we supposed to go to the skipping record, but we went to the formula tool, and but that's fine, right? It was helpful, right? You understood
Yeah,
again.
formula tool if you can cover maybe later because I don't know how to use it. So
Yeah, yeah, I can cover. I
yeah,
can cover
later
formula.
when you're covering, then I can have a look.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We'll cover all the tools. Don't worry about that.
And this one also you need separate, right? Like replace nulls. So let's say you don't want to replace the numeric field with zero. That one you need to
Hmm.
skip. But let's say some of the fields you need to replace the blanks with is in the string field, not all the string field.
Hmm.
Some specific string field you need to replace with blanks.
Hmm.
So if you click here, replace with blank string field, so it will do for all, right?
Yeah,
All
wherever
the string fields,
wherever the
right?
data types are string, it will do for all. But you whatever column you have selected here, it will only perform
Hmm.
activity for those, not for all.
Okay, so whatever you're
Yeah.
selecting here, it will do for
Ah,
those, not
correct.
for all the
Whatever,
string field.
not for all the string field.
Okay.
Whatever we're selecting here, if let's say from that 5 per string, it will do the activity. So you are specifying in the column here itself. If you
Hmm.
don't select anything and you select all those things, nothing will happen.
And this replace null, if you go to the top, this remove null data, that
Hmm.
is also specific, that is also whatever you're selecting, it will be applicable there or it will be applicable for everything.
No, no, it will be applicable for specific data set columns itself, right? If you have specific remove null rows, right? If you have rows data
Rows
wherever,
to everything, it will work. I think rows.
correct, row specific, if you have s- certain value itself is blank,
So
right? It will
when they're
remove
saying
that.
remove null row, what does it mean? Like in a row,
Hmm.
certain columns have null values. It will remove that, or the entire row needs to be null.
No, here the entire row, right? If there are space in between,
Like
right?
the entire
And
row is blank, right?
correct, in between there are space, right? Let's say 4 and from 6 we have some other data, right? There are, let's say, 3 more columns, 3 more rows which is blank. Now if you select this, it will remove all those.
Okay, so the input tool will kind of input the null data also because
Correct, input tool will
all
start from the top.
hmm,
It will look for the data, but it will skip initial
the
till the header, right? After header, if you have
okay
data and in between, if you have space, how come Alteryx will know if you need that space or not?
okay
Okay, so those things you have to specify here.
okay understood.
Okay, now we'll go to skipping record. Okay, skipping record is, now we want to skip certain record, remove unwanted rows such as header, blank rows, specific records, and its etc. Right? A data set contains extra rows, let's say if this data set contains extra rows with metadata, right? You can basically remove those, right? To remove, I have showed you the select tool also, right? Here, if you connect select tool, right? And if you specify what and all you want, it will do remove or keep those, right? But to exactly, I mean, sampling the data, right? You have something called sample tool. Can you see here?
Mm, mm,
Now I'll select, hold on. I'll keep sample tool here. I'll, okay. In sample tool configuration, you have a couple of things, right? It's saying first n rows,
Sample tool means what? Like selecting a part of the data,
part
subset
of
of
the
the
data,
data.
subset of data, correct. Okay. Now let's say somebody asked you, this is my data, give me the sample, right? Or you want to use this sample somewhere in the future data set, right? To do that, you need the sample tool, right? Then here you have configuration, first n rows, n equals to 100. Now if you run this, it will give you 100 rows, straightforward, right?
Mm. First 100 rows.
Correct.
Okay.
It will give you first 100 rows. Now you can modify the number here. Now if you want last n rows, n can be anything, by the way, right?
Mm,
As per your requirement. Now you will
mm,
get the last 100 rows also.
mm,
Now inside data, you are playing with the data now, right? Correct. You have whatever 1000 plus 9994, right? Data set, and you are playing with the data. You are doing the sampling of those data. You are doing all those kind of things, right? Now you have skip first n rows. Now skip first 5 rows, I will say.
It will take from the sixth row onwards.
Sixth row onwards. Correct. Okay. Now let's say my top 5 rows have some invalid data. Now you have seen certain Excel sheet where they keep 4 5 line item and keep it as a header,
Mm,
right? For design purpose. Now you can skip all those. If you have standard, if you know that your data set come in that way itself, you can specify this saying that skip my first 3 rows.
mm,
Make sense?
mm.
Now one of every n rows. Now one of every, so it is keep picking randomly now, basically, right? It is picking one in every 5 rows. You have 1 6 11 16 21. All right.
Mm.
One in n chance, one in 5
Mm,
chance
Chan.
to include each row, right? Let's run this. One in 5 chance. So basically it is randomly picking any one from 5. So we have 4 from 5, right? Now in next 5, it is
It is
picking anyone.
not selecting anything. From 6 to 10, it's not coming. Then again, 11, 13 is coming.
Hmm.
Which is again, 11, 13 belongs to the same 5. Then 15, 16 also I think belongs to same, no, 15. 11 to 15 is same 5. Then
Correct. Hold on. One
16,
in
18
n
also
chance
belongs to
including
same.
each
So,
row. Okay, let's
sorry.
understand this better. Click on sample. You have open example, right? Click on
Hmm.
open example. Now let's say you stuck somewhere, right? You want to understand this better. Okay, one in every n chance for each row. Rows are randomly chosen
Hmm.
at rate of 1 in 10 compared to the customer ID to the example above. Note
Hmm.
also this method does not consistently return 1 by 10th of the source rows. Okay, so basically it is randomly check probabilitical way it is picking the record, right?
But it doesn't
So
pick only one, right? It random one. It doesn't pick one, right? It can pick more than one, right?
more than one, yeah, yeah, it can pick more than one in that itself. Hold on. So I have data set here, I have output here, and my n is 10, right? It is 1 in n chance. Rows are randomly chosen at a rate of 1 in 10, right? 1 in 10. Compare the custom ID to the example above. Custom ID. Where is custom ID? Okay, 1, 2 till 10. We have how many items? We have 90. Now output 134 में है के 35, 39. So basically it's pretty random. Okay,
Okay, so this
1
one,
in n chance.
this one,
Like
where will it be used? I think very less chances, right? Someone will be
less
using
chances.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Less chances.
Except
And
if you
it's a
want to do
probability,
any,
right?
yeah, if you want to do random sampling or those things, where
Yes.
you're splitting the data.
You remember there is one probabilitical question that comes, right, in college days. Pick one ball from
That
10
is, yeah,
balls
that
where
is
five
probability. Yes.
probability. So 1 in n chance. So basically they're picking and they're keeping the record back to the bucket itself. Okay, so that's why the chances is not predictable. It's very unpredictable.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, yeah, say 90 line items there. Okay. All right. Now let's go to our workflow. First n percentage of row. Now you can do percentage calculation also, percentage skipping also. First 5% of rows. If you select and run, it will give you 5% of the rows. Okay. All right.
So 500 records are being selected.
Yeah. Total there are how many line items?
9
9,900,
and
right?
yeah, almost 10,000.
Yeah. 5%, right? 500 will be there. 50%.
Yeah, it's almost 5,000. Mm,
Okay. 4,997.
mm,
Okay. So it will do all those calculations. Okay. Now here, let's say you are saying first 50 rows, but you know what? I just I just don't want first 50 randomly from 1 to 50. I want for the shipping method as well, right? I'll group by the things in shipping method and I'll run. Now just look at how my data will be reflecting. Okay, so it will,
what does it mean? Like, the number of rows that it will return, right?
which
That
one?
has reduced, right? If you use the shipping date you're using.
Sorry, I incorrectly selected shipping mode. Where is shipping mode?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
down somewhere. Yes.
okay,
Now, what does this mean? Like, how do you interpret this? 200 records
okay,
are showing.
okay. So what it is doing is as per the per particular shipping mode, it is picking 50. You have four shipping mode.
Hmm.
You have standard class 50. Okay. You have see standard class ends here. Now you have second class 50.
Hmm.
Then first class. Okay. So let's say somebody asked you, I want the data, but I don't want top 200 because data can be anywhere. First class can be written on the all the way down as well, right? How do you get
Hmm.
those data? Right? You'll group by mode. Basically, it will pick from shipping mode itself. Group by the data.
Okay.
Make sense? Same way you'll do with city. Let's say per city 150. It will give you the data per city wise also. If you, if let's say in your city itself you don't have 50, it will give you the maximum.
Hmm. So 50 is basically a cap. It
50 is
is
nothing but n.
less
It's
than or
n.
equal to 50.
Correct. It's n. Now, what you are suggesting n here? First 50 rows. What do you mean by first 50 rows? Are you asking about top 50? No, I want group by. So it will go to each city and give you the first 50.
Okay.
Okay. And you can group by multiple as well. You can group by city and segment. Let's say it will go to segment, give you 50 wherever the city is same. Now it will become more complicated as much as you want.
So what does this mean? Within the segment, it will select
Within the
50
segment also
cities,
it will, yes,
or
within the
within the
segment it
city it
will,
will select segment. How will it prioritize? Or a combination of both?
no, no, it will not prioritize anything. It will just do randomly. See,
Yeah, because that way it will become complicated, right? Like where this will be used, like in real scenario, where do you have to is there any use case where you have to sample this in such a manner?
yeah, we need this kind of data, right? So let's say if your database is connected to millions of record,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
And
Hmm.
you want certain data set, let's say wherever I want to perform the data on the basis of customer location. Okay, but I don't want everything to be processed. Let's say I'm building the workflow. I don't want everything to be processed, right? I just want top 1000. I'll just mention top 1000 and give me all those random data so that I can build the workflow, right? So it will be used in that way
So
also.
if you're writing this n equal to 50 first 50, that means first 50, right?
Hmm.
And you're selecting city and segment.
Hmm.
So like in that case, what will be the expected output? Like 50 city and 50 segment, or what will it be? Like how it should work?
Yeah, let's check that. See, now as per the, let's do it a simple way, right? We know that customer shipping mode is 4, right?
Hmm.
And we have segment also, right? How many segments are there? Hold on.
And the browse tool will show. Yes.
Segment, I think 3 segments, right? Now
Yes,
let's
three
do that.
segment,
Okay,
three
now let's
segment
do
views.
that. Let's select first, let's do it 10, right? First, let's say
Hmm.
n is 10. Okay, now shipment and segment. This is 4, this is 3.
Hmm.
Now this is saying first 10 row of shipping mode. Shipping mode is first class. Now the result is 120,
Hmm.
right? So it is going to the ship mode and selecting the first 10, and after that my corporate will also be changed, right? Segment.
Maybe if you can download this data, if it is possible, I am not sure. It's
Yeah,
120
it can
rows.
be downloaded.
I think, it will check the larger one. Like I think the segment is larger one. Output. This is
Hold
browse.
on. Okay, in browse
Yes.
you can export everything. Okay, let's say I want to do a sample.
So I think, within one segment it will show uh, three segments, right? Within one segment it will show
Let's check that. Yeah, if you want
40.
to.
Yeah, 40 ship modes it should show. 10, 10 each.
Correct.
Then
So as
again
per,
the
if I select one, it should give me 40, and if I select segment as 3, it should give me 30. Right now it's giving me 120.
yes, 40,
Correct.
40,
It's
40.
basically multiplying those. Right. 4 in, it's what it is doing is 4 into 3, right?
Yes.
Then it's basically multiplying the segment to my shipping mode, and for each it is doing that. Let's say first shipping mode going with 4 segment, then second shipping mode going with 4 segment, third shipping mode going with 4 segment, like that. Getting it?
Hmm.
Hold on. Now we're going in bit depth way, but that's fine. I mean, if it's helping you understand. Where is my data set? I downloaded sample. Where do we export? Hold on. Export on record. No, not YLDB, XLX. Current, I think it's doing that, right?
Yeah, I think one segment you need to
This is my
take.
segment. This is my what did we selected? Segment and
Segment and ship mode.
ship mode. Where is that ship mode here? Right, these two we have selected, correct? So what it does
Hmm.
is we have 4 shipping mode, right? Let's do a pivot. Hold on.
Let's need to select the data sheet. Yeah.
Okay, now what did we selected? Ship
Ship
mode,
mode
right?
and segment. Yes.
Ship mode and segment, right? Total 120. So it's saying first class they have selected 30. Why they have selected 30 in first class? Because there are 3 segment, right?
Three segments.
In
Yes.
segment. See, this is how the data is generated. We have selected n as 10, right? Here,
Hmm.
what did we selected? We selected n as 10, right? And selected
Hmm.
first n rows, right? And we selected ship mode at segment. Now what it does, it went to the ship mode and selected
10 segments.
10 segments for each
10
segment, right?
segments. Yeah. So one ship mode, it is selecting 10 observations from each segment.
Each
So
segment,
total 30.
30.
Then again 30. Then again 30. Then again 30. Total 120.
Correct. Okay, so that's how it becomes. So how come it come to conclusion? It basically, let's suppose, hold on. So basically, let's imagine here is my data, here is one data, here is my ship mode, right? Here is my 4 ship mode, here is my 3 segment, right? What it does, selected this, 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 this,
Hmm.
this, 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 right? This is 12.
Yeah, this is 12. This happens in SQL when you do cross join, I think.
Okay,
Mostly. Yeah.
okay, okay. So
12,
basically, you are
yes.
specifying. I mean, it's good that you went on depth, but yeah, this is how it works, right? If you select one more, it will multiply those.
Hmm.
Okay,
So this is happening 10 times.
10 times for each specific category or subcategory, whatever you selected.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's visible.
okay, all right. Okay, let's run this workflow. So basically, it can rename any or all data streams, right? So
This one is not clear because that time the screen sharing was not there. If you can just go back and show what is this dynamic renaming tool.
yeah, yeah, I'm just starting itself. It's the beginning. Okay, so this is my input tool.
Hmm.
Let's say this is my input tool. I'll just drag and drop my input tool, right? And I'll select it to the anchor. Okay, so now
Showing
I'll
this
go to,
documentation, right? Automatically, how does it? This
sorry.
documentation part.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Like how
Which
did this? Yeah,
which
this
this
all
documentation are
written.
talking about. Okay, so
Yes, yes,
in
yes,
every tool, not in
yes.
every, I will
Mm-hmm.
not get in most of the tool. I mean, sorry, you will get this in most of the tool, but not in all of the tool, right? So you will see certain
Mm-hmm.
example. Okay, so when you open example,
Okay.
you will
Mm-hmm.
see something like this. So this will basically give you some guidance how things works in Alteryx, right? So
Okay.
if you are
Mm-hmm.
pretty new and you want to understand, you can learn on your own also, right?
Okay. This is like a
Okay,
document which is there.
document.
Okay.
This is, yeah, and this is the example. Basically, it will show you the example also, right? And you can, once you learn this, you can utilize it in any database, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for learning purpose, let's go ahead. The dynamic rename tool can rename any or any of the column, right? First rows of data. Now let's say this is my, go to my left anchor. Hold on. Let's run this first. You have filled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till 13, right? You are seeing that customer, my data is starting from second row itself, right? Not from zero, right? You have column header in first row. Can you already see?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's say I have received something data like this, right? What I need to do? Either you can skip the first row that in we discussed there, right? Skip one number of row and all those things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you can rename the field, this one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what it is doing, so basically, see, it is taking the field name from first row of data. So my first row of data is having the field name, right? So I'll select all those and I will select that, take the field name from first rows of data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will run this. Now my output, it has taken from first row of data, right? And the, even the first row itself, it is gone. Now it's starting. Now basically we have fixed the workflow itself, right? Okay. Now there is something called select from formula as well, right? Now in this, we have selected all those column and we are saying rename mode is formula, and we have verified the formula as well. If contains current field zip, then current field plus zip. Now what I want to do is I want to put the current field, we have zip and zip 4, right? Hold on.
Zip code and zip full code.
Okay, so here the issue, first understand the issue, right? If you understand the issue here, we have renamed the field. However, we have zip here and zip 4 and store number, right? We have
Mm-hmm.
all these things segregated. What is zip and zip 4? Now code is added to the end of any zip column, right? So this is my zip code. This is my zip code. Now what is my output? Hold on. 803. Okay, so basically it rename wherever my column is saying zip, it is adding code next to it, right? If contains current field zip, that means all the fields, current fields, I've selected everything, right? Okay. If
Mm-hmm.
the formula is written such way, if current fields contains zip, then current field plus whatever the command is zip, else only current field and if, right? So wherever there is zip written, it will add next code to it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Here in L you see zip, output you will see zip code, right? Now I want to rename it in such a way, I want to rename, because the renaming is not right. I can do this in select tool also. See, I'll select a tool. I'll I'll select tool here. I will just mention zip as zip
Zip
code,
code. Mm-hmm.
and here I will mention zip 4,
Core code.
code, right? I can do
Hmm.
that. But again, it is not dynamic, right?
It's
Let's
manual.
suppose it's manual. Manual
Yeah.
means, yeah, if your data set is constant, it will work. But let's say if you have something called zip pipe coming in now, how can you do that? You can't do that. Now to do that, it's dynamic rename is used, right? So it will search for the word zip, and wherever there is zip written, it will mention code. Same way you can modify anything. Let's say wherever there is customer, you just add ID next to it,
Hmm.
something like
But
that.
you cannot do it that, right? Let's suppose it is customer,
Hmm.
and it is not mentioned whether it is customer ID or customer name. So
Correct. In that way, it will not do.
you
But
may get a customer name also, right? Someplace, a customer ID and customer name.
hmm,
So yeah, again, okay, I think in that case it may not be possible.
it's possible.
Mm.
The formula will be a
Yeah,
bit complicated.
automatically it
So
will
what
add,
we'll
but yeah,
do?
it will
No, no,
logically
dynamic
not be
also
correct.
possible. What you will write?
Hmm.
If contains customer name, if contains current field customer name, then
Hmm.
look for the value. If the value is string,
Hmm.
right? Then it's name. If the value is numeric, then it's ID. It can be done.
Yes, but okay. So customer ID also will be string, right? Because ID you cannot add, right? Add or subtract or
Correct.
mathematical thing you cannot do, right? So
See
mostly
here
in the
metadata
database that we
wise,
get, it
it's
is
ID only,
also
string only. In
ID
that
string
way,
only.
yes,
Yes.
ID string only. But if you can convert it to a let's say numeric, if you want to do that, right? Or
Yeah, sometimes the ID is something like that, right? The customer ID is like you know, A101, A102,
in that case,
something
no,
like that,
no,
right?
no. In
Yeah.
that case, it's difficult. Yes.
Because most of the cases, let's say e-commerce also, they create some unique customer ID for every customer. So
Hmm.
which is mostly hexadecimal.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. In that case, obviously, okay, you can do that. Now add prefix and suffix also there. Okay. So basically, it will add prefix next to your line item, right? So prefix is before, right? You have
Hmm.
visit and
Okay.
spend. You want to add total before that, right? You just mention dynamic rename, mention add prefix or suffix here, select the which columns it needs to be done, then select if it's a prefix or suffix. Now if you run
And how
this,
did you get this pane adding prefix suffix? What configurations do you have in the dynamic tool? Sorry, dynamic rename.
okay, dynamic rename,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty simple. So you will select, hold on, we'll connect to this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Add prefix suffix. Let's say I will select visit and spend. I will say total, right? Total hyphen, right?
Yeah, one question, like this dynamic rename, it is does it take like two data sets? It is showing left and right,
Yeah,
and
it can take two data set also. We have example, I mean, lots
mhm.
of example as well. We'll go to that. Okay, but this one prefix suffix you understood. You can select any column,
But
add
where do
prefix
you get
suffix.
this prefix suffix? Because initially you were getting that formula bar, right? If
You will get
contains
formula, prefix, remove,
suffix,
take field name. You
remove.
have all these. Yeah.
Okay, all these options. Okay.
Yes, prefix and suffix is one of those option. And you selected prefix and suffix and select prefix and run this. Okay.
Hmm.
Same way you can
Okay.
remove prefix suffix as well. You
Hmm.
have remove prefix suffix also here, right? You have
Hmm.
first name and last name, and you want to remove name as a suffix, right?
Okay.
And you run. Basically, it is a data massaging tool, right? Wherever your data is
Hmm.
incorrect, you can do all those kind
It
of things.
is only affecting the column header, right? Only
Column header.
column header.
It's renaming
Okay.
of the column.
Column header. Okay.
Okay. Because column header is very much important for any data set, right? You have to
Hmm.
be consistent on the header part. Now, if you have dynamic rename set, and if how many ever data set you can connect and you can rename all those, right? So it will basically a standardized kind of workflow.
Hmm.
Okay. Now here comes your doubt that what is that right? So that will be used take field name from right input metadata. Okay. Now here, if you see my left column contains field 1, field 2, field 3, all those field 12, right? My right data contains exact data set, right? Okay. Now I'll set up in a such a way, I will mention that take field name from right input metadata. So I will say that my right input data set is correct. You take the field name from there. Okay, only field name. Now if you run, my output will be with the field name of the right and of the left data set. My data set will be left, but my column header will be from the right.
Hmm.
Understood?
Hmm.
But
Okay.
to do that, you have to make sure that the sequence is correct.
So can you explain this part again? Yeah, this left and right one more time.
Okay. Now, if you have a data set,
Yes.
now
Hmm.
let's imagine this data set. Hold on, I will remove this one. Let's imagine we receive this data set. We have
Hmm.
field name, field 2, field 3, field 9 till field 12.
Hmm.
Now I want to have certain columns, right? To do that, I can select this. I can mention that first is ID, second is customer, and all those things, right? Can I do that?
Hmm.
It will give me ID, customer, field 1 is ID, field 2. It will do that, right? But I don't want to do that manually. Okay. Now I have the same level of data set here as well. Somewhere else. Let's say this is
Hmm.
somewhere else, right?
Hmm.
This is somewhere else where I have the custom ID. I mean the column header, my data set is constant. I have the similar kind of column header. Right. What I need to do, I need to just specify a dynamic rename tool and to specify the right anchor and left anchor, and I'll go here and will select take field name from right input metadata.
Hmm.
Right here, take field name from right input metadata. Okay, so it will basically take field name from that metadata. That's it, and it's now giving me correct data. Right, with right hand side's columns, it's giving me left hand side's data.
Hmm.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Any question?
Right input metadata. Okay. Just trying to visualize. Right input.
See, left is
So this
this.
is the input.
Left input is this. I have field, and all those data. My
Hmm.
right input has correct data, correct column
Hmm.
header. What I want this header in this data set, right?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
want right side header in left side data set,
Hmm.
and I will specify the rename, and it is giving me that.
Okay. So when you're connecting to two different nodes,
Hmm.
it will modify that in the output which you're getting.
Correct. This is my input, obviously.
Hmm.
This is my two input. What output I want to specify, I am setting up the workflow
Okay. So
configuration
in
for that.
output that column header, you're selecting either from left or right, whichever one
No,
you
no, no,
want.
no, 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 no. Here, the output data will always be from left. So, see what
Uh,
the configuration says. Take field name from right input metadata. It is only taking field name from right input
okay.
metadata.
And it
It's not
is
taking any
putting
data.
it on the left one and giving us output.
Correct.
It
It's
is
only
taking the
taking
column
the
headers from right,
column header. Correct.
but again in that
Exactly.
case, your left and right one, it has to again match, right? The
Correct.
way
Correct.
the tables are structured,
Correct.
uh, that configuration needs to be the same. What is the header you're
Exact.
overlapping?
Correct. Exactly same. So
Okay,
to do
yeah,
that, you can do that arrangement in select tool. Let's say before coming here, let's say I have
okay.
field one going over there. I just
But
modify the
let's say if
sequence.
someone new is there, right, who is working on this and they're selecting two tables in left and right, which are doesn't have the same configuration or
Hmm.
similar looking tables, right? So in
Hmm.
that case, if they're taking the column names from the right table, then
Hmm.
Alteryx should throw an error, right? Or a warning,
It'll
right?
know.
That
It'll know. It'll know. It will not throw an error. Here
It
it will
will
not
uh,
throw an error.
it will overlap whatever is available.
It will overlap because the tool says that, right? It is just copying
Mhm.
the column header and pasting it
Okay.
there, over
So
there.
let's say in one of the tables there are
Hmm.
10 columns, and the
Hmm.
other one has, say, let's say 14, 15 columns. So
Hmm.
when it will try to overlap, the overlapping will not be correct, right? Because
Not be correct.
yes. Mhm.
So that's why it's written
So
here,
any
right? If
warning
two
it will
data
not give,
sets,
right? Uh,
warning you can specify here. See,
yeah,
once
do not match. Number of
if do
field
not
do
match,
not
it will
match.
give you warning. It will give
Error.
you error, or it will give you
Yeah.
ignore.
Yeah, it should give an error, I think, in this case.
Yeah, it will give you error. But if you mention, I mean, it will warn. It will not stop. It will
Okay.
change
Yeah.
it. Okay, but
Mm.
if you want to give error, then it will stop.
So, sir, one thing, like, let's
Hmm.
say, what happens, maybe in an organization, multiple teams work, right? There's
Hmm.
some team who is providing all the input data set. So
Hmm.
maybe you as a designer who has designed this workflow, initially it is working correctly. But let's say someday someone has changed the input which you're getting. Let's say maybe you're connecting to a SQL database or a cloud, and let's say
Hmm.
they've added two more columns and they did not inform you. So every day your workflow is running. One day, in one of the let's say in the right dataset which you're using here, right? Instead of 10, it became 12, and the left one is still 10, but
Hmm.
they did not inform. So what will happen? It will give an error, right? And that day, the entire workflow will stop, right?
Correct. Correct. If you mention here as error, it will stop.
Yeah, because this can happen, right? Because people
Yes.
usually
Totally, it can
sometimes they
happen.
don't inform, right? Sometimes they don't
Hmm.
inform and they change certain things in the data.
Hmm.
Okay. So this condition is something which is realistic, like it will never change. But if something changes, then this will ideally not work.
Correct.
Number of field names do not match.
Correct.
So this will check the number, right? Hash number of field names. Like the left and right both should have 10 columns each.
Correct. Correct. If number of
Okay.
field names does not match, means if it has more, it will throw an error.
Yeah, more or less, like
Correct.
any
You have
condition.
changed field type and size
But
also. If you say,
if
hmm.
if the position changes, right? Let's say usually the customer ID followed by customer name and then address comes. So
Hmm.
let's say one day, the address has started coming first because let's say
Hmm.
someone has written some select query, select address and
Hmm.
something, and then they populated the data. So
Hmm.
data, if you're querying the table, it is completely correct, but the position has changed.
Hmm.
So when you're overlapping, it is not overlapping with the right position of the field names.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that time, what will happen? Will it give an error or a
Here,
warning or
here with this, it will not give an error. It will
yeah?
proceed basically. Okay, it will
Okay.
change it.
So then everything will become incorrect, right?
Incorrect.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's check the second one, right? We have positional name. Take field name from right input rows. Once if number of field names does not match. Old field name column use positional name field column. Okay, field one. Now column name can also be specified in an incoming data table. Okay, use positional
Mm.
rename will rename column using the order of column in the incoming data stream. Now let's run this. Okay. Now my left has field one, field two, field three, field. My right has customer ID, customer, only field information, right? Field one.
Mm.
Now what I'm saying, use positional rename and it will select, basically take all these value and place it on top of my data set.
Mhm.
Let's say if you have a list of columns anywhere, right? You can use this. Let's say if you don't have any data set where you have column header, you have a column header in some field or some table, you can use that.
Mhm. So this will overlap like this. First column will be customer ID, second will be first
Correct,
name, third will
correct.
be
So if you are saying that your data set
okay.
doesn't, I mean, if you have somebody skewed the data or somebody rearranged the data, you need to at least have the arrangement of it, right?
Hmm.
If
But
you
this
have
will
this
not check
list,
how the data is arranged. It will simply overlap, right?
yeah, it will straight away copy paste and update.
Okay. So risk is there, while doing
Yeah,
this.
risk is obviously there.
Hmm.
Okay. Now you can specify certain formula saying that, let's say my output data, in my output data, this is numeric, right? Sorry, hold on. So spend should be numeric, correct? If my overlaps happen, let's say visit will customer segment will come to spend or something like that, right? So if you set up two data set, let's say put a formula which will warn you saying that if spend is doesn't equal numeric, give me a warning. Okay. And if we have, do you have any data? Okay. And visit, if visit is not numeric, give me warning. Now in that case, obviously, if customer segment come here, it will give you a warning, right?
Hmm.
Jeep come here, it will give you a warning. Now that will not eliminate 100% of your problem. If visit and spend there and remaining things are skewed, then obviously you can't identify. At least some kind of, risk management can be implemented with those formula and all. Okay.
Hmm.
And you can specify for all columns also, by the way. Here in dynamic rename, this is tool specific we are going. You know what is the data you want and you know what is the field name you want, right?
Hmm.
Any other question?
Not yet.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's go and check the last one. I mean configuration. Take field name from again right input rows, right?
Take field
Now
name, check the input rows.
old field name field 2, new field name from the column, right? Now here you are specifying which field should go where in a specific order.
Hmm.
You know left side field 1 is nothing but my customer ID and
Hmm.
field 5 is nothing but my
City.
city, right? You give this table
Hmm.
and you set up in such a way it will, wherever it's go, it will find field 5, it will update city.
Hmm.
Okay, so in this way you will mitigate, right? But you should know who updated what, right?
Hmm. Yep.
This list you should have at least.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, then
So
only
this
this will work.
is that time, right, when you're downloading the data, right?
Hmm.
Then assuming this the position of the data doesn't change, right? Position of the variables doesn't change.
Hmm.
Uh, so initially when you input the data, it will show something like field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, something like this, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, yeah. But again, if this changes, let's say something else is getting populated in field 1 or field 2,
Hmm.
uh, and they made some changes,
Hmm.
then this dynamic renaming will not work. So is it something which you are using maybe let's say on regular projects, or it's good to have this dynamic rename?
No. This dynamic rename will be useful. I mean, it obviously it's useful whenever, let's say, you are getting data from various sources, and sometimes the data can be. I mean, let's say field 9, we have removed that field 9, right? F9. Remember here,
Yes.
not here.
That you have renamed, I think, manually
No,
somewhere.
we have, yeah, here city is in, I mean F9, right? In this kind of segment where you know that, I mean, someone can mess it up, right? And you have sequential order or at least a list. F1 comes to where, F2 comes to where,
Mm-hmm.
or F9 comes to where. You will say, give the data saying that this is my data and this should be a table and this should be my column header. Basically, you are stabilizing the data set, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many ever data set or input data changes, you are basically stabilizing your workflow, saying that I need this many input or I need this column header so that my
Mm-hmm.
future that workflow will be smoother.
Uh,
And this is very
okay.
useful tool. It's not like we don't use it.
Okay.
Okay.
If data is behaving as expected, then I think you can use this. Otherwise,
No, no.
any
Yeah,
changes, then you have to
not
manually, I think,
expecting.
verify the data and then do it.
Yeah, yeah. You should at least have a list, or you should at least have a data set which is your correct data set, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
have that and you mention to a system that this is my data and my data should look like this, then the system will specify.
Okay.
And dynamic rename can be used in other way also. I'll show you. But as of now, the basic functionality is this. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So this dynamic rename, it comes in which palette? I think you might have searched it, right?
Yeah, you can search it here. If I don't
Yes.
exactly remember where it come, it's basically a advanced tool. It's not. We will not get it over there. Hold on. It should be in the developer tool. Hold on.
Okay.
Dynamic replace, dynamic rename here. It's an advanced tool basically. Okay.
Okay.